It's the women's title match. It's Trish Stratus, Lita and Jazz in the women's title match. And the awful performance I was talking about, actually in the match as well, but before the match itself, Lita coming to the ring looks like a Wally. What is she doing? She is trying to mimic the Hardy Boys' little stupid little dance. And to be honest, when the Hardy Boys do it, it looks a bit silly these days. It's really, really dated. But when she does it, she looked so awkward as she was coming to the ring. And she was walking to the ring. Then she kind of realized she had to do it. So she stopped and she'd do it again. And she doing the thrusting her hips forward whilst doing the kind of, you're not going to be able to hear this, but the
oh, I heard it. That was impressive. And
she's doing it you look so awkward. Just stop doing it. You just look silly. You just look an absolute Wally. Then in the match itself, I remember we recorded and released WrestleMania 19 2 years ago. That will be reposted next week. We talked about the women's title match on that, and we were all thoroughly impressed by it, actually. We thought it was very good. And had the presentation of the women been better at the time, I'm talking about the way it was kind of put over by commentary, I'm talking about the way it was featured on the weekly shows and whatnot, the women's title and the women's division could have been far more important and impressive during that period, given the talent they had. This year, they're obviously on the road to that. Trish is still developing, and she's not quite there yet. Jazz is pretty decent. Lita messes up nearly everything during the women's title match. And I just thought, and I've criticised Lita before for being dangerous and sloppy. She was dangerous and sloppy during this match again. And it's a shame because Trish and Jazz are doing some really good work. And Trish is keeping it simple because she's, as I said, she's still developing. She's not quite there. But she's come on leaps and bounds from the fact that she was a non-wrestler 2 years or a year before this. Whilst Lita, she shouldn't be in there. She's not qualified to be in there from this showing, as far as I'm concerned. In the end, Jazz takes the victory, which I think was the right result because the other two aren't quite there yet. They're not quite ready. Jazz is the right person to be with the title at this point because she can actually go and is pretty decent. It wasn't as bad as I was expecting it to be, but it wasn't particularly good either.
How do you think they felt when they walked up to the whiteboard on the 17th of March 2002 and they saw the match order and they realised that they were in between Hogan and Rock and the undisputed title match? You just feel, I might just go home. What a miserable mood. Well, so yeah, exactly. You just might as well just go home. But everything you said, Ben, was right. Lita nearly killed Trish by driving her almost headfirst into the mat, and she was the common denominator and all this stuff.
Lita's really overrated when you really think about it. I mean, one of the most sort of famous things she did was pretty much a botch as well. I mean, that happened on Raw, main event years later. She hit her head on the apron, whatever. That's story for another day. But she does look very dangerous in the ring, and it's not a great look. But this was a really hard watch. I mean, God bless the three of them. But if ever there was a match that was a piss break, I mean, my God, was this it? They really did try. I'm a big fan, not just because of the fact that she is ridiculously attractive, but I'm a very big fan of Trish because of how hard she worked. And like I said, this was my era. This is when I started watching. So to see her debut all the way through to her retirement and subsequent returning about 20 times, but wherever, she really did improve massively. She went from non-wrestler to wrestler, and to be honest, a really good one at that. So really respected her for that. Absolutely, Ben. This was still early days for her. You could tell that she was trying. It was a good moment for her, I'm sure, being the hometown girl. Jazz was definitely good, and there were some elements of good stuff in this, but it was just really quiet, and it's understandable because the energy probably just dropped dramatically after the Hogan Rock match. But I mean, even the finish, I mean, I think that was probably the quietest part of the match. Fisherman suplex off the top, and it was just like, oh, okay, that's it, never mind. Let's just move on with our lives. That's pretty much what it felt like, and I think they deserved better, but years to come, the women's division did get better, so it does happen eventually.
And it got better pretty much on the back of Trish Stratus, her popularity and her work rate, in fairness, because without that, there'd have been no central focus, and it would have just been the disparate thing that it was prior to this and would become after she left, actually, for some time. I can't decide whether or not I feel like this was a good place for them or a bad place for them. Yes, no one cared, but maybe given their lack of experience, it was probably a good spot for them to just be able to go out there on the big stage, get some experience working in front of such a big crowd, and then, but nobody really focused on it too much, because that way, it didn't put too much pressure on them. Having said that, yes, there is no reaction to it. And I think, again, this match order, if we had gone from the full-way tag team elimination match to the women's title match, to the WWE Undisputed title match to Hogan Rock. That would have been a far better order, and I'm sure people would have then got into this match. As it happens, they're not.